seen the sleeve come out of the geezer's hand. He's hitting the board. What the fuck is Stella doing?
It was drug money that got us.
Yeah, 100%. We were flying. Yeah. He was screaming at them. And that's when the smoking, the crack started coming out. It took my whole life. I couldn't master the pain of losing my dad. I was cheating, I was an arsehole. Paranoia, anxiety took over my life. Yeah. I questioned everything, knowing who the fuck I was. Yeah. A bit of a scaffold slag if you want. Yeah. I regret it, but I can't live on that regret. Just don't, I look like I should be in a coffin.
Get yourself right and turn up.
I got tiny fucking gear. That was the end of Stella for me. I'm sorry.
So 16 years old?
So 16, well it was before, to be fair. I was always on the old man's case. Let me come to work, and special jobs I could, like some jobs I could go on. So some Saturdays, Sundays I'd end up going with him and I'd make myself a little belt out of a bit of rope and I'd have a spanner hanging out of it. Just so I felt like I was one of the boys.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But it was, I wanted to do it from a young age. Like,
because your dad was a top scaffolder, you kind of see it from day
and I was always just intrigued by scaffolding. Like my mum used to say, she'd be in the pushchair pushing me and I would say, Daddy, scaffolding. And I'd just see a bit of scaffolding. I'd be like, Daddy, scaffolder, Daddy, scaffolder. And then from that day, it was just installed in me. And then work experience come round from school and they was like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I want to be a scaffolder. And they was like, well, we've never really done this before. Like, obviously, you're only like 14, 15 when you're doing work experience, and they're like, how could you be a scaffolder? And I was like, well, that's what I want to do as my career. Yeah. And in the end, they got in touch with the company my dad was working for at the time, a company called Claw Scaffolding. Yeah. R.I.P. Claw Scaffolding. Yeah. And,
so what happened to Claw? Why did they not found out?
Basically, a couple of, I think they brought in a managing director, and one of them was a bit greedy. I think he was taking a bit of dough out of the company and
kind of ran it into the ground.
Mate. And I think as they was like a holdings company. It was Claude Fenton owned a group of companies, and he ended up just shutting the scaffolding down. Yeah. Shame, really, real shame, but yeah, it is what it is. And yeah, so I ended up doing work experience in there, but they sort of plotted me in the yard. Yeah. Boiling fittings, and I thought there was a point that like the second day, and I was like, do I really want to do this? But I pestered the office.
So before your work in the yard, had you already done days on and off?
Yeah, on Saturdays and Sundays.
You were ahead of that anyway.
Yeah, I was ahead. That's what I mean.
The typical way into it. But really, you probably knew it anyway.
Yeah, I knew the fittings because obviously doing it with the old man on weekends, I wanted to learn. I wanted to know. Yeah. I wanted to know what he was doing up there. Yeah. I wanted to know why he was doing it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And then when they stuck me in the yard, I just didn't know. So I was on it because they were saying to me, "You're too young to go out on the lorries or out on site." Yeah. But I pestered them that much. I think the governor in the end one day, well, if Brian Dormer at the time, he was like, "I'm out on the lorry for the day." Yeah. And he stuck me out on the lorry. And do you know what? I loved it. I was only unloading and loading on the site. Yeah. Unloading the lorry, but me trying to pull a fucking 21 black steel long off from the old days was hilarious. Fucking foot up the back of it. I can remember it now. Trying to pull it off. I've got all these blokes laughing at me. But I wanted to do it. I got that fucking long off, trust me. Dragged it on the fucking floor. And from that day onwards, I was obsessed with scaffolding. Yeah. And I thought, you know what? That is what I'm going to do. Yeah.
You were made for it. I
was made for it. I'll be honest with you, I didn't really have the best relationship with my dad after that. Yeah.
Why was that?
I don't know. I was my addiction, if I'm honest. Yeah. My addictions and my life choices I was making.
Yeah. So what age are you here? So I want to like. So what age are you now? So like you're starting to get
16.
Well, and that's when the relationship started to be a bit tricky.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest. My relationship with my old man was a bit sticky anyway, from young. Like him and my mum split up. I don't know. I was 7, 8. Yeah. And I'll be honest, it hit me hard. I was quite an emotional kid,
You're probably angry.
Yeah, and it hit me hard. Yeah. Real hard. And then I started seeing my dad weekends. Yeah. But then it got to a point where I was like 14, 15. Even, towards 14, 15, and I just thought, hey, he had another bird on the go. Yeah. She had 2 kids. And
you just kind of feel your brushed aside.
Yeah, he only lived 5 minutes away from me, and he didn't come and I had to go and see him weekends. Yeah. And it got in my head a little bit, and do you know what? I fucked him off for a bit. Yeah. I'll be totally honest, I did. I started going out with my pals, doing what, and that's when addiction come in.
Yeah. So what age is this now that addiction started?
16, 17.
Oh, it's young, isn't it?
Yeah, young. I'll be honest, I smoked a bit of puff before that, but when I say, because I could stop that back then when I wanted to. But then when the addiction came in, it was like 17, 18, the cocaine, alcohol.
Yeah.
Alcohol, it was alcohol first. And then it's the whole era of like my age, I don't know, it was just like a thing. The cocaine was massive around my age group, my generation. And we all fucking, it starts off in like normal Friday night, little dabble here and there. But then I've got the worst addictive personality and it just took over for me.
Yeah.
By this time I'm dabbling, I get into scaffolding properly.
Yeah.
17, and the whole construction industry and being a scaffolder at that point was
the worst combination.
The work pub. It was pub, work pub, work pub. And for me, I just fell into that trap and it was work pub. And then
someone who's already got an addiction there, it's bad, the worst.
And then it was do a bit of sniff, so I felt I didn't get too pissed. And then it was fuck it, do a bit of sniff. When I was so young, I could stay up all night and go work the next day.
Yeah.
But then cocaine takes over, and cocaine is the worst drug in the world. Yeah. For me personally, it took my whole life.
But it's hold you up.
For 20 years. Don't get me wrong, I was a functioning addict. I went to fucking work. Well, I went for a stage of being a functioning addict when I was young. And then it got to a point where I was missing days off work. Yeah. And to the point that firm companies wouldn't even take me on. As good as I was, you had blokes turning in 5 days a week. Yeah. All right, they couldn't do what I'd done. No. But they turned in 5 days a week. So companies wouldn't even look at me. Like, bless him, Nick Pinchon. I'll give him a shout out. Yeah. Nick Pinchon, he said to me one morning, he goes, you can be the greatest scaffolder in the world, mate, but if you don't turn in 5 days a week, he's better to me than you are.
100%, because he's probably, 100%.
And do you know what? That haunted me for a bit, but still, the addiction took over still, and I didn't give a fuck. Yeah. And then it got to the point where I started to get like, so I built a little bit of a relationship back up with my dad by this point. Yeah. Well, I'm working with him. We're on claw.
And this is what age now?
This is 17.
17 years old.
Yeah, I'm on claw. Yeah. Addiction's kicking in though, but I'm loving the scaffolding. Yeah. So I'm on claw, I think I was on claw 2 years. They stuck me through my part 1. Yeah. Bearing in mind, and this ain't even blowing my own trumpet, I just picked it up quick because I wanted to.
Yeah, you just knew it.
And the old man, they offered him a place in the office as a QS, and he was getting on a bit by this point, do you know what I mean? Yeah. See, it was at his point, he wanted to start coming off the tools. Yeah. And I thought I took every opportunity to spread my wings and get out into the scaffolding world, and that's what I did. I got myself a labourer. Yeah. Eddie Savoury from Basingstoke, give him a shout, he's a fine scaffolder now, very good scaffolder as well. Yeah. And I got hold of Ed and we went out on our own, and fucking the old man said to me, there's a big warehouse to strike, get it down. Right, it wasn't erected my first job, but it was a big, massive great warehouse unit to get down. And I'd done the erect with the old man on the job anyway. Yeah. So I knew the job like the back of my hand. So yeah, I was there, and this was a day of spanners, there weren't no drills about. I was fucking rattling this job down with this labourer. Just me, it's massive, honestly.
Well, you're still 17 at this point?
Yeah, 17, I'm probably 18 by now.
You've not been doing it for long though?
18, 19, no, I've been scaffolding 2 years. Yeah. So I'm 19, 20.
Yeah.
19, 20, yeah. 19, 20, and I can't even see the other end of this warehouse, but there I am with my fucking spanner determined. Yeah, I'm like, I'm going to prove I can fucking do this.
Yeah, this is your opportunity, you're taking it.
And I did. It took me a fucking week, but I got the fucking thing down. Do you know what I mean? Two-handed.
But you know what though, like knowing you've never lost that.
No.
You've never lost that. Yeah, that thing of I'm going to show that.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah. That's always
you say I can't. I'm fucking show you. Alright, cool. Say no more.
Yeah. And you've always loved that.
I started growing through claw, but then it got to a point where claw started, as a company, started going tits up. Yeah. And I was looking at options. I didn't know what to do. The old man was in the office, and I thought there was another company from Reading, and all this work was in London. And he used to say to me in the morning, he'd look at me and he'd say to me, I'll pay you for the day, I've got you till it's dark. And honestly, I've never been grafted so hard in my life. But I tell you what, it done me the world of good. Yeah. Maybe the scaffolder I am today, taking nothing away from my old man, because I ended up going back to work with the old man anyway a few years after. Yeah. But it gave me that kick with the speed and efficiency. Yeah. You had to have it with him. Yeah. He was screaming at you. Right. He was letting you have it from the lift. And I think I stayed with him for about 18 months. Yeah. And I was on site one day with him, not in ill, and he's slung his sleeve we had this labourer called Shortlong. Me and Shortlong was on the back of the lorry getting the boards on.
Yeah.
And Shortlong was giving him up this sleeve. It was pony. And I've seen the sleeve come out of the geezer's hand. Just come Shortlong in the knee. He's hitting the boards. That was it for me. I thought, you know what, I can't work for this geezer no more.
Yeah.
And I said to Shortlong, I said, we're off at tea time. He said, you what, I've got a sub. Anyway, I said to the geezer, can I have a sub at tea time? I've got on the tube, we've got home. I ended up teaming up back up with the old man for a bit. We went on Champion. And to be fair, I was on there for a few years. Got my part 2 sorted with them, because I'd already done my part 1 on Claw.
Yeah.
Got my part 2 sorted with Champion. I paid for it myself though. I didn't actually have to do the part 2 course. I just went and done it a weekend. It was a U-Pass scheme back then where you could prove, so I didn't have none of the portfolio. I could prove I've been scaffolding for so long, and I've just done a weekend course.
Yeah.
Come away with my part 2. Yeah, and I've done Champions for years, and I sort of like didn't come away from the old man. I think I ended up just working with somebody else.
Yeah.
And I didn't really like. I sort of just coasted for a bit, you know, and you just.
Going through the motions.
Yeah, I was going through the motions.
Not knowing what you wanted to do. Work was just to pay.
Yeah, it was just paying the bills, and sort of lost the love for it a little bit. It was house bashing, and I don't like that. I've never been that scaffolder. I can't do that. That work. Like, fair play to the boys that do it. I don't take anything away from them. I personally can't be. I can't be that.
You like to be thinking. It's got to be technical.
It's got to have me thinking. Otherwise, I get bored. That's when I get in trouble.
Yeah. So and I think with you as well is that it's got to be something that says. I think you like the jobs where people say like, wow,
it's
got to be that. It's got to be a statement.
100%.
And I feel like what you just said there about what you had early on with your dad, trying to prove that on that big job, or that like it was your first job properly, you're striking it, you're on the Spanish, you're proving the point.
100%.
That whole thing has never really left you, did it? You know what I'm saying? And it just again gets bigger and bigger. The jobs get bigger.
When your old man's got a good name in scaffolding, and he had a fucking good name.
Yeah, you got something to prove.
I had something to prove. It's still
two men, and it's going to be competitive.
100%.
Naturally.
And still to this day now, I still think, fucking hell.
Yeah.
Like some of the stuff he used to do, I'd just be like, fucking hell.
Almost like in awe.
Yeah, in awe. Like, oh God, I would do that in a few years. And then I do it now, and I don't think twice of it.
Yeah.
And then now maybe Tyler's on with me. Maybe he steps back and thinks.
Same thing. Yeah.
No, 100%. You know what I mean?
100%.
But anyway, let's go back. Yeah, I was on for Champion. This is where I knew Ballard anyway, but this is where me and Ballard first started working together.
Yeah.
On like the Champos, and like I said, I coasted for a bit. I flipped round, and it got to a point. It was actually me and Ballard left Champion.
Yeah.
We went and worked for Angle West.
Yeah.
And at that point there, I think that was the best thing we ever done.
What age are you here?
For our scaffolding career, early 20s.
Early 20s, yeah.
Early 20s.
22, 23.
23, 24, something like that.
And Angle West at the time were like the big boys.
Oh, they was up there, massive, doing bits.
Yeah.
Doing all the big jobs, and do you know what? It done us the world of good for our learning, the scaffolding.
Was it all technical big stuff?
Yeah, it was all technical big stuff. They didn't do your housing sites. Don't get me wrong, they done little odds and jobs here and there, but most of it was central London, massive. And it was like there was a decent company again, another company that went tits up in there.
Yeah.
But then
were they bought out by PhD?
I think they were bought out by PhD in the end, yeah. And then I think after there, me and Sean we were together for quite a bit, but then.
You've known Sean for years, right?
Yeah, I've known Sean years. Before that, we knocked about with each other when we were nippers, but.
Yeah.
So Champions, Angle West, and then from Angle West, I flicked about for a little bit, and then I'll tell you where we went. We went on big scaffolding.
Yeah. Is this where you started to make your name, or did you already have your name?
Well, I was starting to make my name now. Although I was a functioning addict, I was a grafter, and I knew what I was doing.
So where were you mentally at this point? Like, functioning addict, were you still alright?
Yeah, my mental health was deteriorating. I'll be honest, let's take it back a little bit. I lost my nan at a young age. I was very close to my nan, and I don't know what happened there, but something changed in me.
Yeah.
And I think
what age was that?
That was young, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Yeah.
But it changed me, Joe. I idolised my nan.
Yeah.
And it done me in.
And it's a tough age, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a tough age. And I've had this conversation with my mum. My mum was like, well, it can't be. But I don't know, something for me then changed because I'd lost somebody.
Yeah.
And I knew the world was cruel.
And it was your first,
the first person I'd lost.
Yeah.
And I knew the world was cruel then, and I don't know, but from then on, I struggled, anxiety. I never spoke about it because he didn't.
Yeah.
And if a kid says he's anxious, it's like,
yeah, especially back then.
Back then,
Especially back then.
I'm nearly 40 years old, so you go back fucking 30 odd years, or 20 odd years,
It's man up.
Yeah, man up. And then drugs were the addiction is what used to just help me.
Yeah.
Like the drugs, I just used to mask everything.
Yeah, because
and I could put a persona on and be in this normal geezer and it was a scaffolder. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But really and truly,
so it was like an escape then.
Yeah, man, I eating myself up.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I was in the height of my addiction I started to recognise the mental health that it wasn't good. Because the way I was thinking just weren't. But you still get up in the morning. By this time, I've got children. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tyler's born.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Jaden's coming into the world 3 years later, and I'm in the height of now addiction. But now I've got to try and be a father as well.
Yeah.
And a boyfriend.
So there's a lot of everything's just pressure.
Yeah, 100%.
Everything's just pressure.
Pressure everywhere. And the height of trying to. I just got lost in it all.
Yeah.
I fully got lost in it all. By this point, I'm working for big, and I'm working away. I'm not getting home till 10 o'clock at night.
I know your days when they were mad.
And I was cheating. I'll openly say that she knows it all anyway. I was cheating. I was an arsehole. I treated her like shit. I was never there. I weren't a father. And to be fair, and I'll hold my hands up, it's only the last 5-6 years that I can actually say I've been a father. I call myself a dad.
100%.
Because the battle of addiction took me away from everything and everyone.
Yeah. And I can vouch for that. We'll take it back, but on that note there about you being a father, is I can vouch for that. The amount of times you've had a big pay packet, and I spoke to you on a Sunday afternoon, like, I had a banging weekend, went and brought the kids all do trainers, I can vouch for that from COVID times, you know what I'm saying, and like beyond. So
there was a certain point in life that I still done addiction, but I put my kids first.
And listen, and even though between them COVID times, as we'll get to, we had a fallout there, you end up losing the firm. I can vouch the whole time throughout that you've always been a father. Do you know what I'm saying? I can always vouch for.
So where am I? I'm on Big. Then I've left Big. I ended up working for this other company. And then I've started going up London. I've alienated myself from my family round here, everybody, because of addiction, and I've just started travelling to London, working, knocking about all the little firms, anyone I could jump on. I was ringing London firms, just jumping on them, staying where I could for a little bit. Do you know what I mean? And then I think I kept coming back. I moved out of Basingstoke for a bit. I kept coming back. I was always flicking between your Champions or your Blenkos, and then I ended up on Blenkos for a period of time. But when you're an addict like myself, and even if you are as good as like Nick said to me, but he actually
you can't hold it down.
No, he sacked me a few times
because you're unreliable.
And to the point and he was so good to me. I can't even lie to you. He used to look after me on there. It got to the point I took the piss out of him. He put his hands on me in the pub, and he deserved to. He should have done. He grabbed me around the scruff of the neck. He said, "You don't fucking realise what I've done for you." And do you know what? I've got a lot of respect for that man. I really do, because of that. And it did sort of, at that point there, it sort of opened my eyes a little bit.
First sort of wake up.
Yeah, a little bit of a wake up call, like fucking hell, you're taking the piss here.
And when was that?
That was, again, I was coming 28, 29.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit older. No, 28, 29, And then, by this point, I've ruined my relationship with Carla. I've left Carla. I've left my kids. I'm not seeing my kids for a long period of time. In and out of their lives. And then I moved to Reading. This is just before COVID times. This is when Oxford happened, the first job. I moved to Reading, and I ended up with this bird in Reading, and her brother was an ex-addict. So for a little bit of time, she wouldn't have it. She got me a little bit sober. She wouldn't have it. I needed to be out base. I don't think I loved the girl, I'll be honest. I didn't love the girl, I'll be totally honest. I thought I used her for an opportunity to get out bases and get myself clean. And they'd done that. It also helped that her brother was an ex-heroin addict. She helped me, she did help me.
She can relate to it. Relatable.
She got me off of drugs, and that is when I was fluctuating for another little company. I was flicking between a few little companies round the way. I come across, I've always been friends with your old business partner.
And
he was always pinging me messages, Snapchats. And, and I remember the first few jobs, and I think Grant asked me to work one weekend, and I've come in, and you've come and picked me up in your Beamer. You have 3 boys in the back of the motor. And we were going out to do a temporary room, and I'm thinking, where the fuck is the lorry?
I know,
Where's the gear?
I know,
And I get there, and there's 20 ton of gear on the floor, and I'm like, alright, cool. And I got there, and I don't know who started the room, but we had to change it a little bit anyway. We modified it.
Fully change it?
We fully changed it. We changed it, and we modified it, done what we had to do anyway. And that was it for me, for Stella, for a bit. I come back flicking around. I've done a few weekends for you. Because
I'd started to hear, so I'm fairly new to the industry. But I've always heard about it. Keirans that. And obviously me, I just wanted boys that were just quick. It's all about efficiency. I'm a numbers man, you know what I'm saying? So I knew that this guy was the ticket to the better numbers. And then I remember when I met you, come in and we had a good chat on the way up there, and then seeing you get up there, I was just like, yes, like, this is scaffolding. But then what it done is it gave me like a pedestal to hold on to. Now thinking, this is what the levels are, do you know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean? And this isn't in a disrespectful way to anyone else at all, but it's like, just, you see a new level of something, you're new to the industry, and that's what you don't want to be hitting.
Well, anyone says there's levels to everything. In every industry, there's levels of, and it's not, there is just levels of, like,
some people just get it and they go,
some people don't. Some people want to just coast the beginning, but then I want to be the best.
It's what you love. So
it's what's in me. I have to be the best at this.
But you think with like your dad's background in scaffolding, how early you got into it, then with your passion, the physical aspect, and like where you probably had that pain from a young age to want to prove people wrong. That's a perfect concoction. Things for someone who should have been a good scaffolder.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
If I didn't, something went massively wrong.
Was wrong. Because everything there you've got is like, well, that's, you know what I mean, there's not going to be a failure. He's meant to do this. You know what I'm saying? So, but so by
this time I was with that bird for 4. By this time I'm in my 30s. I've got to be 34. I jumped back on Blenco for a bit, and at this point I'm using, but I'm only using weekends at the moment. I'm not in the height of the addiction I was. I've come out. So the bird knew I'd started doing it a little bit again, but it was only like when I wanted to do it. But it wasn't. I was addicted. I was flat out on it, and she didn't have a clue. I was doing it at work, working from that Blenco, and I was fucking I started to get bad again. But no, it didn't. I was weekends first, and then as time went on, it started to get bad again. But again, I was on Blenco for a good couple of years, and then this is at the point where your old business partner's sending me pictures, and I think I had a week's holiday on Blenco to come and help you boys do that job in Fleet High Street. The big, and I remember
way above our.
I remember walking up to
above our station,
getting out of the lorry and looking at this fucking great hotel.
We hadn't been going a year yet.
And I'm thinking, how the fuck there's 3 of them in the lorry. You got 2 the owners and a labourer. I'm looking at this building thinking, the fuck? I think at that point you had a couple of other Basingstoke boys flicking on doing bits. And I come and done a solid week there with you. And we fucking smashed it. We got a fucking great lump up in there.
Smashed it.
But then I think the time wasn't right for me to jump on then. The time wasn't right I think for both parties.
Why was it? Was it for us cash flow wise?
No, I think it might have been the work wise. I think.
Oh yeah, we didn't know. We didn't know what work was
you didn't know, and you couldn't promise. And I said to you, look, I need to promise at least 6 months' work. To come across. And I remember the day I got a phone call from the old business partner, right? And he fucking said, he was like, look, we're ready. And I was like, I was on Blenco at the time, and I didn't even bat an eyelid. I jacked. I jacked on Blenco and I started on Stella.
Because my thing always was as well, and that's why I used to say to Grant, is if we can't do something, we will employ someone who will.
Do it,
and that's what we did. And then I think the main thing was obviously the fleet job, but then Munster House as well was where, because I'm sure, have we got hold of Munster House?
You'd had money.
Because that was that job that made us say get you on. It was, wasn't it?
That's because
it was put up wrong.
It was.
Had to shuffle and be erected.
So this was it. I got a phone call from you and your partner, and we've had a meet. I've jumped on, and at first I was doing a job in Henley, a temporary roof in Henley.
Because we were looked at maybe giving it to you on price, and we thought it's probably not the one, is it?
And I was in Henley, but I think I'd had a couple of conversations with you. Over drawings. There was something that was wrong. Anyway, I've come to Fulham to have a look. And it was wrong. To the point you've had 450 beams through a window based out to a 5-foot town floorboard. Well, on the drawing it showed like 4 piggybacked 750 decibels on the inside and 3 piggybacked on the outside, thrown into a tower on the windowsill. The windowsill was a structural walk straight to the floor, but it was literally. I pulled up and I said to you, that doesn't look nothing
there was actually a little tower that was going
on the floorboards.
Wooden floor.
It was meant to be taking 60 tons.
60 ton of weight.
And
not propped or anything. We were just well above our station.
100%.
But that was just typical me. It was just like, of course we can do it. Of course we can do it. Yeah.
But that's how
probably it was underpriced a little bit, and definitely was underpriced.
You wouldn't be here today if you didn't take that risk.
But then what saved us was there was mad variations on it. So I knew that was my chance to cover my costs. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So we underpriced it, got in there, and then, to be honest, it was the job that made us, wasn't it?
Massively. Put Stella out there on the mat. I mean, it made Scaff back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so we were doing Fulham. We managed to get a couple of other good boys on. Yeah. One of our pals from London. I'm not going to shout him out. He's thinking at the moment.
Yeah.
And we were flying. Yeah. Things were flying. It was through COVID, we were just grafting.
Absolutely, putting up lumps.
But this whole time I'm hiding my addiction behind everything up the tip. Do you remember I used to come in my eyes?
Yeah.
Do you remember my eyes? I had to put drops in my eyes.
But I never would have known that. Do you know what
I used to have infections, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Is that what it was? I remember.
I used to have infections. Where I'd stay up for days, my eyes would just be open. I'd end up with infection.
Mate, that's mad. I didn't actually until this moment then know that.
I know.
That's mad.
But I hid it. People knew I was a session, so weekends, but people didn't know how bad it was.
Yeah.
It was bad. Like, I'm doing tickets and people don't even know I'm doing tickets.
Yeah.
But then it got to a point where cocaine took over and it started to affect me mentally. Like, paranoia, anxiety, like, took over my life.
Yeah.
It, like, took over my whole life. I lost the person I was. I questioned everything about my own self.
Yeah.
I questioned everything.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know who the fuck I was.
Yeah.
And then I lost the old man.
Yeah.
And that for me, honestly, everything just went. We weren't close, but he was my hero.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. When I got back into scaffolding, and we flicked about me, he was my fucking hero.
Yeah.
Like, and I lost him, and then my addiction spiraled.
Yeah.
To the point the cocaine weren't doing it for me no more. I'm washing it up, smoking it, just trying to hide the pain. And do you know what I mean? I'd lost someone at a young age, but then masked it with drugs. But then, in the height of addiction, I couldn't mask the pain of losing my dad. It was hard, the hardest thing. I thought it'd be alright, honestly, because I used to think about it, because he weren't the healthiest of fellas towards the end. And I used to think about it, and I think, I'll be alright when he goes home. But when he went...
You were prepared for it, and
it hit you
like a ton of bricks.
It hit me more than a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to cope with it. And then, that's when the smoking, the crack started coming in. No one knew I was doing that. I was hiding that from everybody, just saying it was the cocaine.
Yeah.
But no, I was doing both. I was sniffing and smoking it, drinking. I didn't even know I was an alcoholic until I got help. Do you know what I mean? And they broke it all down for me. At that point there,
you're on the way to ground zero.
I was on the, I weren't in a good place. I was drinking, smoking, and it all come on top one night. No, let's rewind this, because I'd been sacked from Stella by then, hadn't I?
Yeah.
So I've been
because Pete was doing inspections as well.
Yeah, my dad was before
doing inspections. I remember I walked around sight of him. I used to walk behind him up them stairs at Harbour Hotel, thinking, for fuck's sake, don't you fall backwards. I'd be up there walking behind him all the time, just waiting, So
I'd come. I was on Stella, and my addiction got me sacked Monday, and I got me over the phone, and I got what I deserved, the sack. I got sacked. And that was the end of Stella for me for a bit. I ended up.
Well, we thought that would be indefinite.
Yeah, we did. I did, because the way it went, I said some things I shouldn't have fucking said. But as an addict, you do.
Of course, 100%.
And I started.
We've all done that. That's what it is.
And I started flicking around again between the little firms where you've got all the wrong uns on that are drinking and fucking getting on it, and I just fell into that routine again. But my work ethic's never changed. No. But my addiction was always there.
Well, it's number one, isn't it? When you're that's why it's an addiction.
And then I lost the old man,
Yeah.
And then it got bad for me, and I had a bit of a breakdown. I had been talking to my mum and my sister. I woke up in hospital. One of my dad's dear friends found me. Absolutely fucking, yeah, on the, like, I think I tried to do myself in that night, but I didn't have the bollocks, because I'd walked to the bridge, and I've got to be honest, I've been there a couple of times, the motorway bridge in Basingstoke, and I just didn't have the final fucking bollocks to do it. But I don't know how, and I reached out for help. And
mate, do you know, look at all you've got now, how much of a fucking waste would that have been?
yeah, I know, massively.
Do you know what I'm saying?
It would have been the most selfish decision I've
how
ever
many
made.
people have done that, and it's a waste. And look at your life now.
Yeah, man.
It's the best it's ever been, everything's together. That's what people don't see, that's why I'm so vocal on this channel about sorting this out.
Mental
people
health,
don't realise what's around the corner.
No, they don't.
My life changes like that, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
For the better.
bro. And do you know what, like,
and once you get a hold of yourself,
yeah, 100%.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like people, like when I want people to talk, it's not to feel sorry for yourself. It's not like it's saying like, listen, we can sort this out.
Yeah,
you can sort this out yourself. It doesn't need drugs, doesn't need pills, doesn't need tablets. It's you saying, right, I'm going to get up early, I'm going to get out, I'm going to train, because that does a lot, and I'm going to focus on something for long enough that override my addiction, and I'm back in the fucking game.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Like you did.
Yeah, and I did.
You know what I'm saying? You are a perfect example.
That morning I woke up in the hospital, and my dad's mate there, Eddie, again, I was shouting out because he saved my life that night. My mum was there, my sister was there, and I was sort of coming round, and I'm like, nah. I knew at that point there,
that's a turning point.
I had to change my life.
Because that was ground zero.
It was even
and everyone's there staring you
100%. And I'm not losing. Once I got my mum back in my life, I ain't losing her again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've lost my dad already.
Yeah.
I ain't losing my mum or my sister. And don't get me wrong, me and my sister have a turbulent relationship, but I love her to fucking bitch.
That's what brothers and sisters do.
And she knows she can ring me any fucking
That starts off when we're toddlers.
100%.
Do you know what I'm saying? The bickering, the squabbling.
100%.
But you're as thick as thieves when it comes down to it.
Yeah, of course, 100%.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. And at that point there, I took myself to get help. And I'm honest, I've been through the system before, the whole help thing, and it's never worked for me. But at that point there, when I went to get the help, and they was like, it's not a walk-in service anymore. Do you know what? I could have walked away then and gone straight back down. But I knew in myself, I was like, right, the only way to do this, I had to move myself out of the situation I was in. I moved myself from where I was living at that point there. I moved myself out of Basingstoke, not far, to a little village where my mum was living. I lived with my mum for a period of time. Or did I live with my sister first? I can't remember. No, I lived with Mumsy first. Shout out to Mumsy and my sister, because they both helped me battle through this whole addiction thing.
And both watch the channel.
Both watch the channel, both big fans.
Mumsy's a big fan, reads every single comment, so make sure they stay clean, because Mumsy's watching.
Mumsy's watching. And I moved to, I can't remember what way round. No, I was in Mumsy's first, yeah. I've done the whole first rehab at Mumsy, changed my number, come off social media. And
I remember this point. Yeah. You were a hard man to get hold of. I wanted to get back on track. I wanted to get hold of you for ages. When I heard you was clean, because I remember I heard for a bit you were plastering.
Yeah, I know.
I heard you was plastering.
I got a random phone call off a ballad. So what had happened is, I wasn't really, the first part of my getting myself clean, I didn't work. I had 2-3 weeks off. And at that point there, one of my pals had said to me, do you want to come labour for me for the day? I was like, what are you doing? He's like, yeah, all I need to do is walk some plasterboard upstairs. I was like, bang it. He gave me 180 quid. I was there 3 hours. And I told someone I'd done it, and then tried these whispers through the scaffolding industry. They come back to me, a ballad drug me. He's like, what's this, you're on the sprint? I'm like, what? He's like, you're a plasterer. I'm like, no, I'm fucking not. And at this point there, I'd lost half my belt. So while I was on the phone to Ballard, I said, listen, I'm going back into work next week, scaffolding. And big up Ballard, I'll always big up Ballard. He come and give me a set of fucking tools, so I could get back into work after the 3 weeks having out of my addiction. And do you know what? Coming back into scaffolding then sober, it was different for me. I was like, right, I knew where I wanted to go, but I hadn't had that little bit of luck yet. Do you know what I'm saying?
But the universe is getting ready to work.
Yeah, the universe was getting ready to work. And I jumped on with, I'm not even going to say his name, I jumped on with gigs, so local man, Basingstoke. I started to bring in a bit of work. Like, as I'm sober now, people are reaching out to me, like, they're seeing that, oh, he's sober, Keirans sober, well, I would give him a bit of work. And I started to bring a few contracts in, and it just didn't work. Like, me and him didn't work. And one day, like, I was in bed, and the fucking universe spoke. It was like, and bearing in mind, with this little firm, I weren't getting out of bed till 8:30. We were going to bang a couple of little towels.
because I'd made a Vale, a big
Yeah.
made a Vale job, and I remember I had, so the man who was running it was a pisshead. He was on the booze, the alcohol and everything else, and I'd been, by this time we're going through a phase where like people in and out of the firm, loads of people that I do not want around me, like people that are like how you work.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
when you got,
100%.
do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And yes, and obviously you've got your story, and I'm like, yeah, I'm with you on that. But there's the drug thing. I don't like it around me. We know that it's not good for us. We've had it, and we don't like it. So I had them sorts of types in and around us, and I'm starting to make calls that I want Kieran back on the firm. Do you know what I'm saying? And then I remember that one morning, the geezer was meant to come in, didn't. I think, and smashed the van up. There was actually a bit of a hoo-ha between me and him on site because he had been sacked, and I said, I'm done with this. I want Kieran back on the firm. And then I rang you.
I didn't think I'd ever get that phone call, honestly. And I didn't recognise the number. And it was weird. It was
You had a new phone.
Yeah, it was 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. And I'm thinking, who the fuck is ringing me? And I think that's how I answered the phone. I was like, who the fuck is this?
Because weren't you starting work at like 9 a.m. this time?
Yeah, 9 a.m. No, I didn't need to be up at that time. Bearing in mind, I just started doing running as well.
Yes.
But I was running in the evenings, not in the morning. I was just about to start running in the morning.
Nothing better for mental health than running.
Running was the best, bro. And I pick up my brother.
Listening,
Shout out my brother. Thank you for that.
100%.
For helping me out. He helped me along my journey as well.
Another fan of the channel.
Another fan of the channel. And it was a conversation. I couldn't believe it. When it was your voice, I was like, huh?
I couldn't believe it.
I thought, never in my life would I hear this geezer's voice again. And you know, when there was a bit inside me, I was excited. I thought, yes, but I weren't going to say that. So I tried to play it cool.
We both had to do a podcast.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't look too keen to get you back on. Because I know then you're going to ask for loads of money. Which you did anyway. But then we also know that you've got to also play it a bit cool as well. There's that.
Yeah, 100%.
We'll play it cool.
I was like, what the fuck are you ringing me for?
Yeah.
It was like, what you do? Your exact words were, what are you doing for work? And at that point there,
straight to the point, no messing.
No messing. Business. It was the perfect point.
Timing.
Yeah, I was with this geezer, we weren't getting on. Don't get me wrong, I've known the geezer years, we're friends, but it weren't working. And I was stuck in a rut. I'm never going to go anywhere with that, where I was.
Yeah.
Stella is opportunities. For me, even with the first time I was on, it was always opportunities.
Yeah.
There was always decent jobs, you know what I'm saying?
We've always been trying to take over the world, haven't we?
100%. And that's the Stella way.
Yeah.
And it was like, I wanted to bite your hand off there and then, but we played it cool for a little bit. A couple of phone calls later, boom, I'm back on.
Yeah, back on.
And
what was the first job you went back into?
Leicester Square.
Leicester Square, yes.
I've done I've done a Sunday with the boys actually.
What a job that would have been for YouTube, by the way.
I know.
High profile as anything. Bang in the centre of Leicester Square, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Around Christmas.
Yeah, so I've done the Sunday up where the boys done them temporary roofs. Big up Sean and Vlad for them temporary roofs then. Where it's just on the Alton, just out Alton way. What have we done CC?
Oh, Swains Hill.
Swains Hill.
What a job for YouTube that would have been.
Yeah, what a job. And then
unbelievable
the boys put up a job there.
The chimney, it's like suspended chimney stacks, aren't they?
That's it.
Scaffold front and back, beams, piggybacked all the way along, beams this way, stacks come down.
Succession of roofs, wasn't it?
Yeah. And nothing could go on the roof. No way you could go on the roof.
And I was in on this, right, so you boys said come in on a Sunday, so I've come in on a Sunday, got refreshed with the boys and that, Monday it was straight up to Leicester Square, boom, brand new job for demo, got a high profile job to do, to be fair, nice little techie bits here and there, like, we had temporary works coming out of the building, didn't we, in the back, and we had to come, it was like a splayed beam section, and boom, we had it up, I think we had it up in 7 days, boom, and then I went on from there. By this point, the working relations, but when I come back on, there was a different aura about Stella. There was a whole different aura about Stella.
In what way?
It was just, it felt different this time. It felt like, boom, like when I was doing bits before, we was like a company, but we was like...
It felt like a start-up.
We was all trackies, there weren't no uniforms. When I come back on, there was structure.
Yeah.
It was like, alright, cool. And then...
Which there should be a couple of years on, the business has started, so there should be structure. But it would have probably felt... And I remember you saying that, you're like, this has grown.
Yeah, it grown massively, changed massively.
There was a few lorries about now.
Yeah.
There was quite a lot of gear around us.
What else put a tickle in my bollocks that morning when you phoned me? You sent me a drawing of a job. Wasn't it?
Haddington.
He was like, I've got this coming up.
Which has been an unbelievable job for us. when
do you want
client
it?
went bust.
Do you want it? And I was like, of course I fucking want it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to turn that, not in a million years.
Techie as anything.
Yeah, techie as anything. Big.
Another one where brand new gears coming out all the time.
Like,
Drop forged doubles galore.
I think I've actually, like, I want to go back as well, because I also want to talk on Richmond, because we've totally skipped that out. But
Yeah.
let's roll back and go to Richmond, because Fulham and Richmond, the first time I was on, honestly, even though I was in the height of my addiction, we were smashing it.
Yeah. 2020,
COVID, absolutely smashing it. Hardly, like, the only people you've seen on the motorways was maybe another little scaffold company.
Yeah.
We seemed like we were the only ones.
Up and down the motorways. Yeah.
Banging up and down the motorways. We had Arctic lorries turning up with fucking gear.
And we had no online presence then, didn't we? We had like a little bit of Instagram.
Yeah, a little bit of Instagram.
If people then saw what we were doing in 2020, people sat on the channel now.
I'd be mad. Mad.
And we'd only been going a year and a half, 2 years.
I know.
And the jobs we had on. And Harbour Hotel was mad, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I'd even at that point there, when we're doing Harbour Hotel, I've got people that I know that have been running companies for years ringing me saying, what the fuck is Stella doing?
Yeah, how are they doing this?
How are they doing this?
I think people were trying to say that we were... that people were saying that it was drug money that got us started.
100%.
People were saying it was drug money that got us started.
The furthest from the fucking truth.
Yeah.
Like, it was two men got their heads together and started a company. That's what happened.
Yeah.
And but like Fulham and Richmond for me, some of the most like, I couldn't believe the work I was doing on the company at the time. Do you know what I mean? And for me, it was like, wow, this company's going to go fine anyway. I ended up leaving, getting sacked because of my addiction, and then coming back on.
Yeah.
And I think it was about a year ago I started hitting the gym, and for everything for me since then.
And how much you put on?
38 kilo.
38 kilo.
I was a mere 58.
It's a big gaining phase.
58 kilo when I first started.
Little feather.
Little feather. Still far long and about though.
Yeah.
Still far long and about. But yeah, 58 kilo, and this gym journey, honestly now, and I'll say this to any lad out there that's struggling with your mental health, get in the gym,
100%.
Get running.
And early mornings. Get up and seize the day, bro.
Seize the fucking day.
100%.
Rebuild them relationships.
Yeah.
If you broke down the relationship, you've got to rebuild them relationships.
Yeah.
Even if you're not seeing that person every day, even if it is a rocky relationship with that person, be the man.
Get yourself right and turn up with value.
100%.
But that's when I talk about like men having value. It's like it's just being a reliable male, getting up, training.
100%.
If you've got self-respect, you're a valuable male. You've got to earn that respect 100%. For yourself by training, being reliable, doing what you're supposed to do. Get up early, seize the day.
Even being sober, I still didn't respect myself. It wasn't until...
Because it takes time.
Yeah, it does.
You have to earn it back.
I got in the gym, and it was about 8-9 months ago, my eldest boy comes to me and he said to me, he goes, Dad, I'm fucking proud of you. And that for me there was more than anybody could ever say to me. Because that boy has seen so much of me being not the best. Do you know what I mean? Like that kid there, he's the eldest, he see everything. There was no hiding it from him.
Yeah, so.
And I regret it, but I can't live on that regret. And I'll be honest with you, even though what he's seen, he's turned out the greatest fucking son I could ever have.
Yeah, it's brilliant boy.
He's a fucking good lad.
Brilliant boy.
And now he's working with me. It's in his blood. I'm proud of him. It's in his blood, and it's a natural. It's natural to him, and and like, hopefully my dad had that proud moment of me when I was scaffolding.
100%.
And I hope he looks down now and he's proud of his grandson as well as he's proud of me.
He'd be massively proud of you, bro.
Massively. And do you know what?
The transition I've seen of you, like, mad.
Mate, to chalk and cheese, like, I'm seeing pictures of me. 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I look like I should be in a coffin.
Yeah.
It don't look good. Like,
and you're lucky that you're not.
I'm very lucky.
I think a lot of people are lucky you're not. It's been a fucking waste.
100%. But there was times my mum was getting phone calls. She thought that was the phone call to say, he's gone. He's fucking done himself. The drugs have done him.
Yeah.
And I was doing that much. I was doing that much drugs. Like, I wasn't sleeping. My heart couldn't take the shit.
Yeah.
Chest pains and chest pains and chest.
Of course.
And I say to anybody that's got addiction, listen, get yourself some help. If it's not the help that can do it, at one point you need that switch, and it will switch at some point, and you will, with determination, willpower, you will be able to get like.
So anything with addiction, like it's going to try and pull you, but the further away you get from it, that all of a sudden that clean it snaps, and then you're free. But you've got to just keep going.
100%.
It will try and get hold of you.
And don't get me wrong, I fucking battle demons still on a daily basis, brother. Because they're never gone. No, they're never gone. They're always there.
But that's why we have to get up and get out.
Get up, get
that self-respect in the early doors.
Earn your self-respect.
Win each day. Win each day.
There's no better feeling than walking out that gym in the morning and thinking, I've still got my whole day ahead of me.
Yeah, the sun's coming out, fresh air. I've just trained, I feel good, I know I'm looking good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Them little things there, that's all we need, and they're all free.
And that, you know what I'm saying? Like seeing myself from 58 kilo to now 88, 90 kilos, it's like, wow.
100%.
And I feel so much healthier for it.
100%. I've seen you turn your life around, bro. And I feel proud of you. I've seen you fucking, like when I let you go, whatever, like, you were a mess, bro. Like, you were someone who had loads of potential and just eaten up by your past and what you were in at the time and everything else. And then now, you've just got hold of yourself, got hold of your life, and you're just driving forward in every way possible. You've rebuilt your relationship with Carla, like the mother of your children. I've seen that. You're now engaged to her. Your kids as well. I mean, you've always been a good dad, but now you're even better. Tyler's now in the firm. He's coming through. You got your mum there. I know things will rock you with her. Do you know what I'm saying? She's proud of you. Your old man will be watching as well. Do you know what I'm saying? Your nan, like, bro, everyone will be proud of you. Do you know what I'm saying? How could they not be? Do you know what I'm saying? You've turned it around, mate. And it's on your own, bro. From ground zero, you got hold of it and said, nah. I'm changing, and it starts today. And you've done it, and you're back on tour.
It took me 20 years, but I've done it.
100%.
I've done it.
100%.
And I say, the feeling I get up when I wake up, even on a Saturday morning and go to work, fresh.
Yeah.
I'm not hanging, not stinking of booze.
Yeah.
And this is what I say about scaffolders. We've got a persona on us where people think. So when people say scaffolder, they think, booze drinking, cocaine sniffing, loudmouth arsehole. But this is where
the new generation's
coming in, and not all scaffolders are like that.
No.
When like, some of us just want to go to the gym, put up a decent job, and live a normal life.
Yeah.
Maybe throw a holiday or two in there.
100%.
Do you know what I'm saying?
100%.
And just have a normal life, bro, and watch my kids grow old. That's what I want to do.
100%. And and I've got to ask, what? I know you're a massive fan of Stella. I know what's happening, but what is Stella to you, and why do you love Stella so much?
Because I can see what. Honestly, you were a massive inspiration to me, just because the way you grind shit out. If you say you're going to get it done, you'll get it done. Yeah. And that for me, that's how I think.
Yeah.
And I could just see Stella going and growing. Honestly, I've worked for over 25 fucking companies through my years of scaffolding, 25 years. Honestly, probably more. Bit of a scaffold slag if you want.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, it helps you with picking up things. But anyway, I could just see a vision with Stella that I don't see anywhere else. There's more opportunity, and with it here, I'm allowed to be more involved. Like you value me for what I really am.
You get the best people and you let them do their thing.
Exactly.
You don't micromanage, you don't overcoach.
Exactly.
Let them do their thing. And a little bit of pulling back when's needed.
Yeah.
But let them do their thing.
And bro, listen, Stella's a family.
Yeah.
We are a family. We've got good. Listen, we've got the best of the best on at the moment.
Yeah.
Let's keep it that way, and we're flying. We are. There's an acceptance. There's no clickiness. There's no battling against each other.
No.
Stella is a family.
100%.
And listen, I bleed black and yellow.
Yeah.
You cut me open, I bleed black and yellow.
Yeah, 100%.
Like the company's not mine, but I treat it as if it is mine.
100%.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. You've always had a lot of love for Stella.
Yeah, I have, man. Because when I was first, your visions were mad. And I used to think, he's a fucking madman. But I love his vision.
And then they start happening.
And then they'd happen. Boom. And then when I come back on, it was like boom, boom, boom. And things were sometimes a little bit slow, but they happen. Yeah. They're not your fault.
No, just
contracts kicking off.
Yeah.
When you were saying to me, this job, got this job, it's happening in a couple of weeks, the client lets you down, boom. 3 months later, bang, the job's, I told you, bang, there it is. Yeah. And it always happened. 100%. So even the point when we can take it back to Munster House, I'm ringing you on the, it's 3 o'clock, I'm looking down, I'm like, I've got no fucking gear. I'm like, Joe, I need fucking gear. And you're like, right, the yard's empty, I'll ring you back. And within fucking 3 hours, we're doing overtime. There's an Arctic out the fucking front of the time, ready to be unloaded with a great I am. And there's 40 ton of gear on it, I'm like, bang it.
Mad.
And
time and time again. And that was a daily occurrence.
Yeah,
like Arctic's coming in.
And that's when I knew.
Yeah.
You were going to go. You were going to do bits in the scaffolding industry. And I knew Stella would do bits.
Yeah.
I just knew it was going to be a good thing.
It was good for all of us.
Yeah. And when I left, I kicked myself because I didn't think I'd get back on it.
Yeah.
And now I'm back on it.
I didn't think you would either.
And now I'm back on here.
And it's been the best thing ever for both of us, for all of us.
Honestly, my end of career will be on Stella Scaffolding.
100%.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
And then we've got Sean's doing now as well.
Sean,
as contracts manager. So you and him have known each other since day dot.
Day dot. We've been on a few firms together, and I tell you what,
been through a bit of stuff.
Been through a bit of stuff together. Sean's a top lad, a fucking good scaffolder. And I'll be honest, he's really good at the contract manager's job he's doing now.
Yeah.
Sean's a top lad. He don't take no shit off no one. He tells you how it is. It's as simple as that, and that's what you want from a contract manager. You know what I mean? If you're not pulling your weight, he'll tell you. That as a foreman, if you're not pulling your weight, I'll fucking tell you. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's it. As our job, we have to do that. Although we're friends on here, and we are like a little family, there still has to be a point where you got to nip things in the bud.
Yeah.
If people ain't pulling their weight, you got to nip it in the bud. And you might think I'm an arsehole for the next couple of days. I'm sorry, but in the end, it'll make you a better scaffolder.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Wicked, right?
Banging. You like. Just wait, 5 years time, we'll do this again.
Yeah.
5 years time, we'll do this again. And we'll see, it'll be in a Bentley this time.
Yeah, no, Rolls Royce. I was going to say the same thing. Yeah. All the stars. But you won't see me for 2 years, I'm living in Dubai.
We FaceTime.
Yeah. Nah, wicked. Very, very good stuff, mate.
Thank you, bro.
Mate. Good man. And then, yeah, bro, mad. And listen, I know I've got to say, bro, I think it's been wicked for me to see how much you've turned your shit around, mate. And yeah, unbelievable. What a story.
Thank you very much,
and the best thing is, mate, it's still only just getting started. The foundations are solid, bro. And no one is ready for what's to come.